Hello, students. Today we are going to have a reflective discussion on a topic you know well, but may have many questions about: democracy.
Let's begin with a question many of you might have asked yourselves, especially when you look at the news or our country's problems. If democracy is supposed to be so good, then why do we hear so many arguments against it? Why does it sometimes seem so messy?
First, let's not ignore these feelings. It is very important to understand the common arguments made against democracy, just like in Madame Lingdahl's class. We must acknowledge these frustrations to have a proper discussion.
These are very real frustrations, aren't they? You might have heard that democracy leads to instability because leaders keep changing, or that it's just about political competition with no real morality. We also hear that it leads to long delays, and sometimes even corruption. These are serious points.
This frustration often leads to a thought, voiced by Rose in the discussion, that maybe a single strong leader would be better, someone who doesn't have to worry about elections and can just get things done. It sounds tempting, doesn't it?
But this brings us to a very crucial point. When we wish for that perfect, strong leader, what are we comparing democracy to? We must be very careful to make a fair comparison.
Often, we are unfairly comparing a real, functioning democracy with all its flaws to an imaginary, perfect dictatorship, a system with an honest and strong leader that, well, doesn't really exist in the real world.
As the student Hoy pointed out, a fair comparison must be between real systems. We cannot compare a real thing with an ideal thing. We must compare the real with the real.
So, let's do that. Let's compare a real democracy with real non-democratic governments. When we do this, we start to see the practical arguments for democracy much more clearly.
The first and most important argument is about accountability. You see, democratic rulers have to respond to the needs of the people. If they don't, the people can vote them out in the next election. This makes them accountable.
The famine in China is a powerful real-world example of this. During those years, China had a terrible famine. India's economic condition was not much better, but India did not have a famine on that scale. Why? Economists say it's because India was a democracy. The government faced public pressure and was forced to act. The Chinese government, being non-democratic, did not face that pressure.
Second, democracy improves the quality of decisions. Now, remember we complained about delays? Well, those delays happen because of consultation and discussion. And while this takes time involving many people and many minds, actually reduces the chances of making a rash or irresponsible decision.
In a diverse country like ours, democracy is what holds us together. It allows different groups to live together peacefully because no one is a permanent winner or a permanent loser. Everyone gets a chance to be heard.
But perhaps the strongest argument for democracy is not about the government. It's about what it does for us, the citizens. It is about our dignity.
You see, democracy is based on this fundamental principle of political equality. It means that the poorest citizen and the richest citizen, the least educated and the most educated, all have the same status when it comes to their vote. This enhances the dignity of every single person.
Think about this. In a democracy, we are not subjects of a ruler. We are the rulers ourselves. Even when we make mistakes in our choices, we are responsible for our own governance. This responsibility is what gives every citizen dignity. And finally, let's talk about democracy's most unique and powerful feature. This is its greatest strength.
You see, no government is perfect. Mistakes can be made by any government. But only in a democracy is there a built-in way to correct these mistakes. Mistakes cannot be hidden for long. There is public discussion, and then there is room for correction. Either the rulers must change their decisions, or the rulers themselves can be changed by the people.
So, to sum up, we must be realistic. Democracy is not a magical solution to all our problems, but it is clearly better than the other real-world alternatives that we have.
Now, for you as students, please remember this. A good answer in your exams doesn't just list pros and cons. A great answer shows this deeper, evaluative understanding of why democracy, despite all its flaws, is considered the best form of government.